All right, I didn't have that set up right. All right, what's going on here? Hi, everybody. Here I am. I'm a little late because I had it. Um, Here we go. Here's some people showing up. I'm a little late. I'm sorry. I had it on private instead of public, so you can all see it now. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Carver's Wood Shop here in Honeybrook, Pennsylvania. This week it was a little different. We had a couple of bad storms this week. I'm just going to give a little bit of time so some people can get on and watch. Hi, Jack and Jenny, and hi, Warren. And it was very stormy here, and we had some mishaps here at the farm, but I'll explain that maybe later. But things are now all fixed and taken care of, and so everything's better today. Anyway, so what we're going to do today is we're going to do the baby Jesus, which you see down here. And this is the larger one. This is the other one, the smaller one of the two, the smaller size. And you're welcome, Georgianne. I'm glad you got the stuff. Same thing with you, Christine. I'm glad you got your stuff in the mail. I'm all caught up as of today, sending everything out. I only had one mistake with one order, and I took care of that today. But we're going to do the star, and we're going to do baby Jesus today. And then actually, your set will be completely finished like this. All right, so you'll have Joseph, you'll have Mary, you'll have Jesus, and the star. You won't have the nativity set, but, you know, it will come along. It will come along. All right, so let's get started with this. Hang on just a second. Got my hot chocolate ready. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we'll do the star last, okay? You're welcome, Gary. Let me get... All right, so the first thing you want to do is with your block. I have these. This is, I think it's 7/8 of an inch by an inch and a quarter by 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 2 1/4 long. Okay, you can take either side. If it's not perfectly down the center, one side's a little higher than the other, it doesn't really matter. But these are just round. I just took the corners off to save a little bit of time. So here we go. So whatever side you want to start with, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to work on the bottom side, on this side right here, okay? And that's what I have here. Hang on just a second. Right there, okay? We're going to work on this portion right here. So you're just going to take off a corner like so, all right? And you're going to do the other corner the same way, straight across. And then you're going to round off the corners, the end grain here. You're just going to take this and you're going to cut that off. So you're kind of rounding it up. Let me move this out of the way so you can see it a little bit better. All right. Same thing with the other end. These really don't take that long to make. It's just a little more smaller and a little more intricate because it's smaller. It takes a little bit of time. Wear your glove. If you have a glove, put your glove on. And no, I did not cut my thumbs. I ended up buying another case of this, and it happened to be white instead of the colored ones. So my thumbs are fine. I put these on so I can push and pull, but if you have a glove, put it on. I suggest you wear a glove if you have one, and put a thumb guard on. It will protect you from cutting yourself, as you can see what I'm doing here. Okay? And we're just going to, again, we're going to take all this rough stuff off. It doesn't matter on the bottom here so much, but you want to try to round it off as much as possible evenly on both sides. Make it look like it's a little bit of a boat shape. Alright, so hope you guys are enjoying this series. I'm having fun doing it. And I think I'm going to come up with a couple things for Christmas time. I know this is for Christmas, but I mean some Santas and maybe an elf or something like that. So, hello James. I will let you know. Maybe we'll have maybe a 3-week course come August or so. We'll see what this whole coronavirus, if we're still in a lot or not, and we're not really allowed to see people yet. Maybe we'll do it in the summer. This will take us probably through a good part of June anyway, because this is week number 3. Alright, so you're just going to kind of round all of this stuff off. There you go. And I'm going to take a little bit of this rough stuff off right here. Okay, this little rough stuff. Alright. We'll do a couple of Santas and a couple other things here. Yeah, it will, Linda. If you use rubbing alcohol and water, yes, it will help you cut anything that's really, really hard. Sometimes it will help a bit, but it won't, if it's really been dried out for a long time, it will help. It will help for sure. Somebody asked if they had old basswood, if it would work to put rubbing alcohol and water on it. Yes, it would. Just spray it lightly, though, if you do so. All right, don't go too crazy with it. All right. So now, let's get my little piece I did earlier today. Now we're going to cut out this portion here, and I take my V tool. I love my V tool. And we're going to just cut about 1/8 of an inch or so from the edge. Okay, so I'm going to try do it in front of the camera. It's a little hard for me to hold on to it here, but I'm going to try anyway. And take little pieces out. Try to keep your hand out of the way. Some of you have been sending pictures of the pieces you already had done. I really enjoy that. If you can do that, if you finish a piece or two, please send it to me and let me see what you're doing and how you're making it. I'd love to see your finished work. Painted or unpainted, doesn't matter. As you notice, mine are not painted over there. I have been making castings of, hello Justin. I've been making castings of Mary. Here's the castings from her. And here's Joseph, Mary, and then I'll do baby Jesus, and then I'll have almost the main set done. So when we're done with these two, you'll actually have a set. And all you need is a manger scene with it. I like a manger to go with it. And so what I do, I go in pretty deep with the V tool. What I'm using is a V4, a 4.5 V tool. And the V3 and the V4 are exactly the same angle on the end here, but the difference is this portion is smaller. The V3 goes up to about here, and you get a little bit more of a wing. I call it a wing on the V4. And the only nice thing about the difference between the two, I use this one a lot, but I also use the V3 to get into smaller spaces, because sometimes these get in the way, the end parts get into the way if you're getting underneath something, or so it really does help. So there you go. So what I do here is I want this to stick up just a tad, okay? Not a whole lot, but I want it to stick up a little bit. So what I do is I take my knife and I actually go all the way back around, and I make it a little bit deeper. All right, just a little bit deeper all the way around. I put a stop cut into the V cut that I just did. I'd be doing this a little bit nicer if it was right in front of my face, but it's not. And And then what you want to do is just take a little sliver off of the outside, just so this sticks out a little further. And you can do this a couple of times if you want. Hello, Donna. A lot of you liked my cow mask that I had on, face mask, earlier this week that I posted. Okay, so there's a little bit of a lip there, as you can see. Now we're going to take this off a little bit because we don't want any of this rough stuff from the bandsaw on here. So we're just going to slowly take this off a little bit. If it pulls in there, just turn it around, go the other way. It digs down too far. Okay, so I made that little V cut. So what we're going to do is, I did that little stop cut all the way around. So then we're going to just go around and we're just going to dig this out a little deeper from the inside here. If you have any questions, I'll try to catch it as I go here. Hello, Sandy. This will be on YouTube, so if you want to watch it again or you need to figure out something, you can go there and look. Give me about an hour or two to get it on there because I have to. I can't just take it from Facebook and put it there. I have to do a couple of different things with it. All right, so I'm going to go on the outside again, and I'm going to cut that V cut a little wider. All right. Now, oops, get back here. All right, so I round this off a little bit on the inside and clean it up a little bit. You'll have more time. And now I take this one little rough edge off the outside. This is the outside of the basket, whatever you want to call it. Hang on just a second. There we go. You're welcome. Thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate all of you joining me and joining along tonight and watching. And we'll do it every Tuesday night until we have a whole set. Tonight we're going to do 2. So okay, so this is basically where we're at here. We have this rounded, we have this basic thing cut out. Now we're going to do the basket. Okay, let me show you. The basket can be any way you want it to be. If you want it more straight, you can. But what we do is we start off from the top. We round it down. So you're going to take this at an angle. You're going to just take it with your V tool and just put little notches all the way around. It's a little hard for me to do this because I have this thing in the way in the camera, but I'll try my best to show you how to do this. Try not to hit your hand. That's why I always have my thumb leaning up against it. Okay, you get the idea. All right, we're going to go all the way around, and then we'll do the bottom portion. Only take a couple minutes to do it. All right, there we go. All right, so that's kind of the first section of it. Then you're going to go down this way, and you're going to just keep going in that direction. Just take little cuts out. You don't have to take big chunks out. Just kind of go in the same direction, cross a little bit if you want. And that's kind of the look you're trying to obtain. All right, and then same thing here, just go from the top and work your way down to the bottom. Now it's going to be a little harder to do it when you get to the cross grain, or the end grain. That's where your grain is running up and down this way, and this is the end grains, or your two ends here on the longer part. And that can make it, so if it gets a little tough, just turn it around, go the opposite way. If you feel it tugging a little bit, just flip it over. Alright. I'm going to flip it over again, because we're getting to the bottom here. Now I'm doing this kind of roughly. I'll go back over it and work on it a little bit nicer. And then when you have little gaps in there, like what you see here, you just take your little V-tool and go in between. Again, this is the 4.5. Somebody asked if I had these in stock. I don't at this moment. I just sold the last ones last week. I'm supposed to get 4 or 5 more in the next week or so, maybe even 8. I don't remember, but these are getting harder to find, just the one by itself. The suppliers, I don't know what's happening with that. It's not because of the COVID-19, but it's more the, I think more just where to get them. It's not a matter of the pandemic. It's not anything to do with that, but it's more the suppliers themselves. Same thing with the knives. Alright, that's about all I'm going to do with that. I'll go back and clean it up a little bit. It's just a little hard for me to get to it, because I moved the camera over and it's kind of in my way. So now we have the top. You kind of figure out which one's going to be the top or the bottom for you. Alright, so now we're going to put Jesus in here somewhere. So what I do is I take the shape of a balloon. It's the only way I can describe it. Just like so. Okay? And then I take this one and I bring this all the way down. Then this is going to be going around the head this way. And it's going to come back around, and it's like a little bit of an S for the folds of the blanket. Just like that. Okay? And once you get that, you take your nice little V-tool again, and you're going to follow this head all the way around. Okay, and then we're going to go up this way as well. Now, you notice I'm not going real deep, because you just want to take your time with this. And you can go a little deeper if you want to try to make the heads a little bit more rounder and such, okay? And then I'll do this other line right here, and then these 2 lines right here. Now you can put hair on it, on the baby, or not. It's up to you. I usually have a little bit of a nose and all that. You can leave it plain like this if you want. That's entirely up to you. But what I do is I take once I get all those things cut out, I usually put another stop cut down the center, and I make this a little bit deeper on both sides. 1. I'll turn it the other way, and 2. And if you don't have a V-tool, you can do it just with a knife. You can do it either or. Alright, so again, this way, on either side. They haven't opened up a whole lot here in Pennsylvania yet. Our state is pretty well, it's starting to, but not quickly. Somebody asked if I was going to have classes in the fall. At this point, no. I don't see that happening anytime soon. What they're predicting is that we're going to have another round of this probably in the fall, starting in September. So I don't think that's going to be something I want to chance. So we'll do it this way for a while, you know. And if we don't get together, we'll do a couple classes online like this. So I just did another stop cut around the head. And we'll come down all the way around on from the inside first. It does help to have a sharp knife. Your knife isn't sharp, this is not going to be real easy to do. The Rough Rider, offhand, I don't know what the model number was on that. I bought that off of eBay. I may have a couple here, but they're not grinded down to this, what you see here. It's a stainless steel. They're made in China, of course. I do like the way it handles and all that. And so let me see. That's okay, April. I'll put this on YouTube when we're done. Right here, the bottom part of the neck here, I put a little bit deeper, and I just dig this out just a tad more. Oops. Okay. And then I round off these edges. Round off this one, and I put a little V cut in there because we want that to look like it's going underneath. Okay? And this goes underneath there. Alright. Alright, now for the face itself, on mine I have a little nose and I have a little bit of hair and just a short mouth. So it's very simple. I just put the hair across this way. I put a little upside down or a U shape. So I take my knife, not the V tool, the knife. I cut straight across, and I cut that out first. Let's see if I can get that. Alright, and then I go back and I put that little U shape in for the nose. A little thicker nose is okay. You don't have to worry about it being correct. Yeah, I'll let you know, Christine. I'll see what I have here yet. They're tucked away someplace in my shop across the street here. So what I do here is I just take the knife, go all the way around with a stop cut, and then I just cut it. And if it doesn't free up here, I just put a little notch. The same thing here. I can just follow it with the tip of my knife. And then I round off the nose a little bit. Next week, we are going to do the donkey. So we're going to start with an animal next week. Alright, so it will be this guy right here. Alright, the donkey. And then the following week, we'll do the cow. And then we'll do the sheep. And then we'll do the shepherd. And then the three wise guys. And then the angel. Alright, so we've got a little bit ahead of us yet to do. We have some work. Alright, so that's how I do the... Now, if you want to put a little bit of hair in there with a V-tool, you can. Just take very little notches out. You don't have to take a lot out. Just, a little bit. And then, for the mouth, I just take a real small little short cut with the V-tool. That's it. Not a lot to it. Alright, so now we're done with Jesus in the basket. Okay, this is what it looks like. Alright, and that's what it looks like when it's painted and done. And so we're going to put that aside. Now we're going to start on the star. Now the star is the same size as what's hanging in so this is what it looks like. This is what you should have done now, okay? When we're done tonight, you'll have this one, this one, this one, and the top one done. The star. The star, I was trying to get that off of there, but I have it up there pretty tight, and I can't get it off of there. So I just decided to carve another one. to save some time. The stars are very easy to do, all right? So what you want to do is you just want to get a square piece. Whatever size you want, it has to be square. If it's not square, this is a little off, but it's the only thing I could find right now. So what you want to do is put a cross on every side. This is an 8-point star. All right, on all four sides, and then on each end as well. All right. Now this takes a little strength in your hands to do. And I tell people not to rush it with this, because this is a good way to cut yourself with this. Because where the lines are is what you're going to kind of leave. Now this is kind of a rough draft. I really didn't have time to clean it up a whole lot like I normally do. Usually I just take a little sliver of the pencil marks off and such. But when you start on the star, the grain is running this way. Okay, the grain is running this way. So what you want to do is you want to start on the end grains. Okay, this is actually a little harder to do than the end grains for me. The flatter the knife, the better. I'm going to use one of my Murphy knives that some of you have bought from me, but it works very well for this. So what you want to do is just start, you're going to do a peeling motion with it. So you're going to push it and you're going to pull down, just like you're peeling a potato. But you're going to not go straight in, you're going to use a peeling motion. And then you're going to turn it over and you're going to do the other side, just like so, okay? And then you can turn it over again and click it out. Now, see, your lines are on either side. So what I do is I take my thumb and I start pushing down, and I do the top line first to where it has to be, okay? Just like so. Then I turn it over, I see where the other line is, and I take my knife and I follow that. Just like so, okay? You don't want to go really past the line because this really has to stay there, all right? And then you go to the center and you kind of even it out. You notice it's deeper, it's cut out deeper on either end, so then you just, and you kind of want to have it that it's nice and flat and straight across, just like that. All right? Then you go to the, now you can start here, but the reason I don't, I'll explain that later. Let's go to the next side. So I'll go across. Same thing. I'm gonna, if you use that peeling motion, it works better. Okay. These are really easy to make. These are really fun to do. This is really, once you get how to do it, this is one of these things you can kind of listen to a movie or music, or, you know, it's a no-brainer type. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but you don't have to think a lot on how to cut it. You just have to follow the lines is pretty well all you're doing, okay? So it's not difficult to do, but it is very imperative that you have a sharp knife. And these Murphy knives are great for that. And this is the one that I'm going to have a hard time finding. I have about 8 of these left right now, and I think he's going to get maybe 6 or 7 more for me. But they're a great knife. Now you notice I'm using my thumb to push it the other way. I cheat a little bit that way, but anyway. So notice here we're going to go all the way to the middle, and then we'll clean it up again. Okay, and then we'll go down the center and try to make a nice clean cut. All right. Yeah, they would make great for the Christmas tree. And the nice thing about the stars, I want to share something with you. You can do a 12-point star, and you can do I have a video, and it is also on YouTube how to make these already. I'm just adding this to this series. But the nice thing about it is you can make the block 1 inch, 2 inches by 2 inches, an inch and a half by an inch and a half. These are an inch by inch. Of course, the bigger it is, the harder it's going to be to carve it, because you have a lot more to remove. So, and the 12 point is not my favorite thing to do. It can really chip on you. This is just a very simple design that is a lot of carvers use this design, but you can make it out of any shape block you would like. And I'll show you where to put the hook to make it look like it's not a square piece. All right, let's go back to the other side. Okay, so we got 1/4 of it done right now. Okay, so this is the one end grain. All right, so now we're going to flip it over and we're going to do the other side. I already put my lines on it. So, you can take a ruler or a business card or something to make those lines a lot straighter. I just happened to hurry up and put it on before I had to be on tonight. And like I always tell people, try not to think you can do this at all in one shot. Take your time, do one side, little pieces like I'm doing now, and then, flip it over and then do the other side. Okay? There's no reason to rush with these, really. And then go down the center and try to flatten out that whole plane there. Okay? So now we're still on the end grain. This is the grain's running this way. The grain's running this way. So, yes, I've already soaked it up with some rubbing alcohol and water. It does help a great deal to do that. The only thing you want to be careful of is if you soak it too much that it doesn't crack when it dries, okay? Yeah, everybody was okay here. The storm that we had a terrible wind. I had a shutter that came off of the house here at Mom's place. I had some shingles that came off, and Jack, are you listening? One of the panels came off of the garage, but I had somebody go up. I put the truck back together with the lift, and I took care of the shutters. But I hired somebody else to do the roofing part, because it was just I took a little bit of a tumble during the storm, and I wasn't up to being on a roof right away. So, and I had to be done right away. So that's the story with that. But everything's fine. Everything's fixed now. Everything's back together. But amazingly, the roof that Jack and I have worked on for a couple of years, it held up very, very well. So I was very grateful. It was very, very windy. It was so incredibly windy. I was taking care of one of the doors that kept flying open, and it knocked me right over. It was wicked. So I was a little sore from that for the last few days, but everything's good today. And a lot of people were missing things off the roof, had a lot of trees tumble over. I don't know why it was incredibly windy, but I hadn't seen wind like that in a number of years. It was just so fierce. I was lucky, though. There was no trees around the properties that went down, so that was good. But other than a few little things here and there, we made out okay. And I'll recover. I need a few more days, and I should be back to normal again as well. But I did take care of the shutter. I did get back on the roof yesterday a little bit to take care of that. But yeah, I'm fine, Jack. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing my family again once they open the borders from Canada. I miss seeing everybody. Okay, so this is how the 4 sides are done. So we have both end grains are finished. Okay, that's how that's done, and it's not perfect there. I can see that. What you want to do is try to get those corners really close together and as accurate as you can. Now, one word of caution, because of this going this way, okay, the grain is running this way. It wasn't too difficult. It was actually easier to do the end grains, believe it or not. Usually that's not always the easiest thing to carve. But when it goes this way, you have a real chance of chipping out a corner, meaning this part right here, okay? So what you want to do is you want to take your knife and you want to very gently, okay? See, if you put too much force on this, you're going to knock this portion off, all right? You really can't do that doing the end grains, but you can when you go along with the grain. So you just want to take your time and very slowly and methodically kind of just do little chips like that until you get down a little further. And then you can start cutting it out. It's this portion that I'm worried about knocking out. I've done it once or twice. And again, you can do the same thing. You go down all the way to the corner. One thing I noticed, Jack, they are saying that in September it's going to come back. So I don't know what's going to happen. None of us knows what's going to happen with this COVID-19. It's so many different I guess, opinions and things. I just want to listen to the scientists and, and try to take our cues from them. They're more knowledgeable about this stuff than I am, so I'm just trying to follow what they say. So, okay, so now we have 2 points that are out already, okay? So now we're going to go to this side, and let me see if I can just clean that up just a little bit. All right, there we go. Now we're going to do 2 more points. So again, we don't want to pull too much because we don't want to knock this out. Just very gently, just do a couple little chips, slices. Again. And once you get past that, then you can start cutting a little more boldly. Okay, now we got 4 points out. Okay, 2, 4, we said we got 8, so we have 2 more to do. Nope, I don't have a husband that carves with me. I'm a single gal. Anyway, so here we go. Again, you want to be careful. And there we go. Perfect. And I try to get as close to that, try to thin this up as much as I possibly can. So now we've got 6 points out. All right, 1 more to go. See, I almost chipped that one out. Whew, that was close. And once you get past that first initial couple of cuts when you go with the grain, it is much easier to cut it. But it does make a world of difference to have a nice sharp knife. Now I'll go back. When I have this all done, I'll go back and kind of recut things just like so. I'll do every side a little bit. And I'll make it nice and flat. All right. Now, where we put, I'm going to show you something. Now the star is done, all right? The star is done. Now we're going to go up here to the star. Now I know it looks a little blocky there, but usually it's hanging from I had turned it. Usually I have it hanging a little differently, but that looks not blocky that way. And where you usually put the hook is right in the middle here. It's not on the end. It's not up here, but in between one of these wedges is what It really does. I put a little eye hook in there. Um, and then I have another eye hook up on the top of the manger. I did just I don't usually wear a glove, but most beginners should wear a glove. I wear these both for protection for my thumbs and also so it doesn't hurt when I push on my knife. That's why I use the thumb guards on both. One thing, like I said, I did have two of these. These are starting to come along pretty well, and I have a bunch of the hooks here. I'll put little packets together for people. I probably could send it in a regular envelope. I'll come up with a price, maybe with 20 or so of them. I get them by the 500s or so at a time. It's just cheaper that way. So I'll try to put that on Facebook somewhere. But this is the castings of the two, and then I'll do the casting of the baby Jesus. Some of you have wanted a casting of Joseph. They're $14 a piece if you buy them individually. I haven't come up with a whole price for a whole set yet. I don't know how they'll paint up. I'll probably do that in a while here. But the other thing I wanted to tell you was I went down to pick up my free lumber, which is the pallet wood that I make these. Now I buy the wood on the back, but this is all pallet wood, okay? I like using it, and it's, not only that it's free, but it looks a little rustic, which I like. And I just really, I went down there thinking I had orders for 7 of them because they're $25 if I have to make it and ship it to you. And so I had 7 orders for these things, and I went down there and there was nothing. And I completely forgot that most businesses are closed. And like them, they're not putting out any pallets because they're not selling anything. So I decided, I did find some. A friend of mine had some and gave some to me. And I need to start making those. So I'll probably start making them this week. And we'll see how that goes. But that pretty well does our project for today for the star and the baby Jesus. Okay, and I hope you enjoyed. I hope I hope you enjoyed this part of it. I know baby Jesus is a lot smaller than this one here, but the whole set is a bit smaller. Next week we will do our little donkey, and I really enjoy doing the animals too. So we'll do the donkey next week, and we'll get away from doing some of the people and start doing some animals. And no, you didn't miss it. It will be on YouTube in about an hour or so. Any other questions, folks, before we wrap it up today? Okay. I tried to answer as much as I could while I was carving at the same time. It will be the same time next week, and we hope to see you then. I enjoy doing this, and we'll get going on him next week. All right, take care, folks, and have a great night. Be safe, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.